beneath the ice, beneath the pine. I know the rhythm keeps the time, drumming the earth, breath in the stone. This northern land is not alone. From Thunderbird to cedar line, from prairie gold to granite spine, where northern lights in silence bend and winter never meets its end.
Storms have always been among the most powerful forces in nature. The sky darkens, the air grows heavy, wind tears through the trees while thunder rolls across the land like distant drums. Lightning splits the sky in blinding flashes, bright enough to turn night into day for just a moment. But for many people across this land, storms were never just weather. They were the work of something powerful moving through the sky. The Thunderbird. The air shifts first, like a shiver running through the forest. Birds fall silent. Frogs stop their croaking. The entire world seems to hold its breath. Then you feel it. A low vibration rolling through the ground beneath your feet, growing stronger with each passing second. A shadow cuts across the storm. Wings unfurl wider than any plane you've ever seen, slicing through the clouds. Each beat doesn't just move air, it shakes the earth with thunder. Leaves tremble, branches rattle, stones clatter across the ground. Every creature is still. Even the water in thawing ponds seems frozen in place. Lightning flashes again, and for a moment the feathers catch the light. Earthy brown at their core, streaked with sapphire, turquoise, crimson, and gold. They shimmer as if the storm itself has been trapped within each plume. Talons curl through the wind, immense and impossibly sharp, each one like a polished steel hook. They flex and twist with purpose, grazing branches and scraping stone as if testing the world below. Then you see its eyes, huge gleaming orbs burning with electric gold. They pulse with light like captured lightning, sweeping slowly across the land. A ripple in a pond, a bird frozen mid-flight, a branch trembling in the wind. For a heartbeat, it feels as though those eyes are reading the world itself, weighing every movement against the vastness below. Then lightning flickers within them again, and the gaze moves on. The wings beat once more. Thunder rolls across the valleys, deep and reverberating. Your chest pounds in time with it. Your stomach flips, and still you cannot move. Pinned in place by something far older and far greater than yourself. The storm circles slowly, and for the first time, you truly understand that the storm is alive. Across generations, stories of the Thunderbird have traveled across the land. A spirit of the sky said to command storms, its wings carrying thunder and its eyes flashing lightning across the earth. In many traditions, it's not simply a force of destruction, but a guardian. A being that watches the world below and restores balance when something threatens it. Stories like these aren't told as myths. In some communities, they're remembered as events that happened. One such story is still passed down today in Island Lake, Manitoba. Long ago, a young man traveled with a group of voyagers, navigating a difficult portage trail near Island Lake. The journey was slow and exhausting, as they hauled heavy freight through the forest using ropes and wooden rollers. Along that trail stood Snake Hill, a place everyone feared. Elders said enormous serpents lived there, creatures so large they could swallow a man whole. Most travelers avoided even looking toward the hill, but the young man's curiosity got the better of him. While the others worked to drag the boat along the trail, he slipped quietly into the forest. His tracks led straight toward Snake Hill. When the leader of the voyagers realized he was missing, he followed the trail for a short time before stopping. The footprints told him everything he needed to know. Reluctantly, the group continued their journey, believing the young man would never return. When the young man's father later heard what happened, he refused to accept that his son was simply gone. He and his wife traveled to the place where the tracks disappeared. There, they pitched a small tent and drove the stakes deep into the earth. The father lit his pipe and prayed. He asked the Thunderbirds to avenge his son and destroy the creatures that lived within that cursed hill. As the sun set, dark clouds began gathering across the sky. When night came, the thunder began. Lightning struck again and again into Snake Hill, while enormous shapes moved within the storm clouds above. The ground shook so violently that the man's wife later said it nearly lifted her from the earth. The storm raged through the night. When morning finally came, the clouds drifted away and the sky cleared. Later, the father returned alone to see what had become of Snake Hill. When he reached the place where it once stood, he was in awe. The hill was gone. In its place lay a blackened wasteland of shattered earth and smoking trees. Scattered across the charred ground were the torn remains of enormous serpents. The Thunderbirds had answered his prayer. They couldn't save his son, but the creatures beneath the hill would never threaten anyone ever again. Stories like this have endured for generations across Canada, carried by the people who live closest to the land. They remind us that the Thunderbird is not tied to one place or one moment. It moves wherever the wind carries it, watching the forests, the rivers, and the skies above them. And whether someone chooses to see it as a spirit, story, or symbol, the power behind it remains impossible to ignore. Thunder still rolls across the valleys. Lightning still splits the sky. Storms still rise with a force too immense for any single person to control. And that's the reminder these stories carry. The Thunderbird doesn't need to appear to matter. It doesn't need to strike to enforce its will. Sometimes its presence is felt only in the sudden shift of the wind, or the way the forest falls silent before a storm. So when the clouds gather too quickly, when the air grows heavy, when thunder rolls across the land like distant drums, some people still look to the sky, just in case the storm is watching back. Next Monday, we're switching things up a little. We're sitting down with some fellow Canadians to talk about one of our 3 territories. It's a bit of a different vibe than our usual episodes, but that's what makes this one fun, I promise. We test some of my friends with Canadian trivia, have some fun would you rather questions, and even dive into immigration, all while exploring what makes the Yukon such a fascinating part of our country. This has been What Lurks North. Stay safe out there.
Beneath the ice, beneath the pond, we walk their ground, they walk in